There's a truth your soul already knows, but your mind resists. You weren't put on this earth to be loved by everyone, but to truly learn to love yourself. These words resonate like an ancient whisper, carrying the millennia-old wisdom channeled by Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, in his deep trances. Today we walk together through sacred territory of the human soul, where the hardest truths to accept are also the most liberating. Because there's a vast difference between what we think we know about ourselves and what our immortal essence truly came to experience in this lifetime. The first harsh truth that needs revealing is that you are not a victim of your life circumstances. You are their spiritual architect. Every painful situation, every heartbreak, every betrayal that pierced your heart like a sharp blade was magnetically attracted by the vibrational frequency of your own soul. This doesn't mean guilt, but cosmic responsibility. Cayce taught that before incarnating, our souls make conscious choices about the experiences they need to go through to evolve. That person who deeply hurt you, they agreed to play that difficult role to teach you something you hadn't learned in past lives. Think of that relationship that left you shattered, where you gave your all and received only scraps in return. Your rational mind screams it was unfair, that you deserved more, that the other person was bad. But your soul whispers a different truth. You chose to experience that dynamic to finally understand the value of your own love. Every tear shed was a drop of ancestral wisdom being distilled in the alchemy of your spiritual growth. The second truth that cuts like a sword of light is that no one can complete you because you were born whole. The desperate search for a soulmate to fill your voids is, in fact, an escape from the responsibility or voids is, in fact, an escape from the responsibility of finding yourself. Cayce spoke of companion souls, not a single person destined to complete us, but multiple souls who cross our paths to catalyze our growth. That feeling of incompleteness you feel isn't the absence of someone, but the presence of parts of yourself you haven't yet developed or haven't had the courage to embrace. Observe how you behave in relationships. Do you seek constant validation? Do you need the other person to confirm your worth? This is the echo of past lives where you surrendered your personal power in exchange for acceptance. Your soul registered this experience as trauma, and now in this lifetime, you have the opportunity to rewrite that pattern. Every time you allow yourself to anxiously wait for a message, every time you interpret silence as rejection, you're reliving old karmic memories. Healing happens when you recognize the pattern and consciously choose to respond differently. The third harsh truth is that your suffering is a teacher disguised as an enemy. Every intense emotional pain carries within it a sacred message that your soul needs to decipher. Cayce revealed that we often choose painful experiences because our higher consciousness knows we need that specific lesson to evolve. It's as if our soul were a rough diamond that needs to be polished by the pressure and friction of human experiences to reveal its true beauty. That depression that consumes you, that seemingly endless anxiety, that feeling of being lost in life, these are all symptoms of a soul struggling to awaken to its true nature. They are not flaws or weaknesses, but signs that you are ready for a profound transformation. Your psyche is reorganizing itself like a butterfly struggling within its chrysalis before emerging transformed. Suffering is the chrysalis, not the final destination. The fourth truth that needs embracing is that you cannot save anyone who doesn't want to be saved. How many times have you worn yourself out trying to fix someone? How many times have you believed that your love would be enough to transform another person? Cayce taught about the law of free will. Each soul has the sacred right to choose its own path, even if it's a path of self-destruction. When you try to force someone to change, you are violating a fundamental cosmic law. This compulsion to save others usually comes from past lives, where you couldn't help a loved one and carry the guilt of that experience to this day. Or it could be an unconscious way of avoiding looking at your own wounds. It's easier to focus on the problems of others than to face your own inner demons. But your soul came here to heal its own wounds, not to carry the karmic burden of other people. The fifth truth is that loneliness is not a punishment, but a sacred gift. In a society that teaches that being alone is failure, your soul knows that moments of solitude are when you can finally hear your inner voice. Kaiser received his deepest visions in states of total seclusion, where the noise of the outside world couldn't interfere with communication with higher dimensions. Your solitude is a temple where you can find answers that no outside person could give you. When you stop running from loneliness and begin to embrace it as an opportunity for self-discovery, something magical happens. You begin to distinguish between being alone and feeling lonely. Being alone becomes a state of communion with your divine essence, while loneliness reveals itself as just an illusion created by the mind that has forgotten its connection to the whole. The sixth and crucial truth is that your expectations are golden cages you built yourself. Every time you expect someone to act in a certain way, you're creating a trap for your own happiness. People aren't here to meet your expectations. They're here fulfilling their own karmic contracts, following their own scripts of spiritual growth. Edgar Cayce spoke about the importance of living in divine flow, accepting what comes without unnecessary resistance. This doesn't mean passivity, but understanding that the universe possesses a higher intelligence orchestrating meetings and partings according to spiritual needs our limited minds can't comprehend. When you let go of expectations, you open the space for miracles your mind could never have imagined. And here, in this moment of profound revelation, I feel I need to share something important with you. If these words are touching your soul in some way, if you feel you've finally found someone who understands the depths of your being, there's something your soul already knows. You didn't get here by chance. The mystical algorithm of the universe brought you to this video because you are ready for this transformation. And if you feel this resonance, this spiritual connection with these truths, then you are exactly the kind of soul who belongs to our sacred community. Click the subscribe button now and hit the bell, because what's coming in the next videos will completely revolutionize your understanding of who you truly are. Don't let your rational mind convince you to postpone this decision. Your soul knows this is the moment. Subscribe now, because some awakening opportunities only appear once in a lifetime, and you've already wasted too much time doubting the signs the universe has been sending you. The seventh truth that cuts deeply is that you are responsible for the energy you carry everywhere. Every environment you enter, every person you interact with, is affected by the vibrational quality of your being. If you're constantly attracting people who drain you, chaotic situations, toxic relationships, it's because there's something in your energetic frequency that's magnetizing these experiences. Edgar Cayce taught that we are constantly transmitting and receiving energy. If you carry unresolved anger from past lives, you will attract situations that activate that anger until you learn to transmute it into wisdom. If you carry a fear of abandonment, you will magnetize people who will confirm that fear until you learn to feel secure within yourself. It's not cosmic punishment. It's spiritual education. Think about the people who irritate you the most. Now do this exercise of deep self-knowledge. What aspect of yourself are they mirroring? That arrogant person who bothers you, is there unrecognized arrogance within you? That victimized person who irritates you, do you also have tendencies to victimize yourself in certain situations? People are mirrors of the soul, reflecting back to you aspects that need to be healed or integrated. The eighth truth is that your past doesn't define you, but your present decisions on how to deal with that past completely define your future. Many people get trapped in narratives about trauma, abandonment, disappointments, as if they were permanent identities. I am this way because my father abandoned me. I can't trust because I was betrayed. I don't deserve love because my mother was cold. These are stories your mind tells to justify resistance to change. Edgar Cayce revealed that our soul chooses certain difficult experiences not as punishment, but as opportunities for accelerated spiritual development. The child who experienced abandonment can become the adult who develops an extraordinary capacity to nurture others. The person who was betrayed can develop sharp intuition and deep wisdom about relationships. The pain wasn't the destination, it was the catalyst for transformation. But this transformation only happens when you stop using the past as an excuse and start using it as fuel for your growth. Every emotional scar can become a source of light if you allow wisdom to emerge from the experience. The ninth truth that few have the courage to face is that you are not special in the sense of being exempt from universal laws, but you are unique in the sense that no one can fulfill your soul's mission for you. There's a human tendency to believe that the rules apply to others, but not to us. No rebound relationships don't work, but mine is different. No lying is harmful, but my situation is special. No living in the past causes suffering, but my pain is unique. Spiritual laws are impersonal and immutable, like the law of gravity. If you plant seeds of dishonesty, you will reap fruits of distrust. If you nurture thoughts of scarcity, you will attract experiences of limitation. If you act out of fear, you will magnetize situations that confirm your fears. There are no exceptions based on special circumstances or noble intentions, but at the same time, you are absolutely unique in your specific combination of gifts, challenges, purpose, and contribution you can offer the world. No one can love the way you love, create the way you create, heal the way you heal. Your journey of self-knowledge and spiritual growth is unique and non-transferable. The 10th and final harsh truth is that you already know all the answers you seek. You just don't trust your inner wisdom. How many books have you read looking for the formula for happiness? How many videos have you watched searching for the key to self-love? How many therapies have you done trying to find who you really are? And deep down, in the silence of your soul, you always knew the answer. Edgar Cayce accessed universal information not because he had some supernatural power, but because he learned to silence the rational mind and tune into the frequency of universal wisdom that exists within each of us. You have access to the same source of infinite knowledge. The difference is that you were conditioned to distrust your intuition, to seek external validation, to believe that the answers are outside of you. But notice the times you followed your intuition against all logic, and it worked out. Remember the times an inner voice warned you about something and you ignored it, only to discover later it was right. Your soul is constantly sending you messages through good feelings, dreams, synchronicities, physical sensations, sudden insights. You just need to learn the subtle language of spiritual communication. When you meet someone and immediately feel a strange connection, as if you've known them for lifetimes, Your soul is recognizing a companion soul. When you enter a place and feel a heavy energy for no apparent reason, your spiritual sensitivity is picking up information that your rational mind can't process. When you repeatedly dream about certain situations or symbols, your subconscious is processing old karmic memories or receiving spiritual guidance. Life becomes much more fluid and meaningful when you stop fighting your intuitive nature and start collaborating with it. Instead of seeking external certainties, you learn to navigate life using your inner compass. Instead of trying to control every outcome, you learn to trust the divine flow that is constantly guiding you toward your highest good. But accepting these hard truths isn't a process that happens overnight. It's a journey of peeling back layers, where you shed one layer of illusion at a time until you reach the authentic core of your being. Each truth you integrate frees you from a limiting pattern, but it can also trigger a temporary crisis because your identity needs to reorganize itself. It's like renovating an old house. Before you can rebuild, you need to demolish the structures that no longer serve it. It might seem like destruction, but it's preparation for something far more beautiful and function. Your psyche goes through the same process when you decided to stop living in illusion and embrace the spiritual reality of your existence. During this awakening process, you may feel temporarily isolated because your superficial conversations no longer make sense, but you haven't yet found your spiritual tribe. You may experience periods of confusion because your old right and wrong references are being challenged by a higher wisdom. You may go through phases of intense emotionality because repressed emotions from years or even lifetimes are being released. All these symptoms are signs that your soul is expanding beyond the limitations you've created for yourself. It's uncomfortable, but it's real growth. It's the difference between conformity and authenticity, between survival and a full life, between existing and truly living. Edgar Cayce talked about the importance of self-patience during these transformative processes. The soul has its own rhythm of healing and awakening, which doesn't always coincide with the urgency of our mind. Sometimes you'll take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Sometimes you'll feel like you've completely regressed. But it's not regression, it's integration. It's like learning to play a musical instrument. At first, your fingers fumble on the keys. The sound that comes out is off-key. You get frustrated because the result doesn't match the music you hear in your head. But with consistent practice, patience, and self-compassion, your fingers find fluidity, your perception sharpens, and one day you realize you're creating the music you always dreamed of playing. Your journey of self-discovery follows the same pattern. At first, you stumble into old patterns, react automatically to emotional triggers, get frustrated because your behavior doesn't match your new consciousness. But with consistent practice of presence, patience, and self-compassion, you begin to respond instead of react, to choose consciously instead of acting on autopilot, to create your life according to your deepest values, instead of simply repeating inherited programming. And the more you practice living according to these spiritual truths, the more your external life begins to reflect your internal transformation. Relationships that are not aligned with your new frequency naturally dissolve or transform. Opportunities that are in tune with your soul's purpose begin to manifest. People who vibrate at the same frequency of growth and consciousness are magnetically drawn to your life. It's not magic, it's alignment. When you stop fighting your essential nature and start living in accordance with it, you enter the natural flow of life. The right doors open, the right opportunities appear, the right people cross your path. Not because you forced or manipulated, but because you finally became receptive to what the universe has always been trying to give you. But remember, this journey doesn't have a final destination called enlightenment, where all problems disappear and you live in permanent ecstasy. Life continues to be life, with its challenges, its surprises, its complexities. The difference is that you develop a solid inner foundation from which you can navigate any storm with more wisdom and less unnecessary suffering. You learn the difference between pain and suffering. Pain is inevitable. It's part of the human experience. Death of loved ones, end of relationships, disappointments, losses, changes, all of this causes natural pain that needs to be felt and processed. But suffering is optional. It's the resistance to pain, the story we create about pain, the drama we build around pain. When you accept that pain is part of growth, it becomes more bearable. When you understand that every difficult experience carries within it a seed of wisdom, you develop a different relationship with life's challenges. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you start asking, "What is this experience trying to teach me?" This shift in perspective completely transforms your life experience. You move from being a victim of circumstances to becoming a conscious participant in your own spiritual evolution. You understand that you don't choose what happens to you, but you can always choose how you respond to what happens. And in that conscious choice of your response to life's experiences lies your true power. Not the power to control the external world, but the power to determine who you choose to be in the face of any situation. This is the power no one can take from you, regardless of circumstances. So, as we reach the end of this journey through the hard truths your soul needed to hear, pause and feel what's happening within you right now. Is there a part of you that feels relieved to finally hear these words?